big freaking bowfin.
Got one. Get him.
I'm Master Angler Josh Dolan, a dedicated and hardcore big fish hunter. I travel and explore waters far and wide, devoting my life to the adventures and thrill of chasing the true giants that swim. I've spent the last decade fishing hard to learn the ways of these monster fish, and I'm here to share my experiences with you. Join in my journey as I go to the extremes to hunt down, capture, and film the largest fish that each species has to offer. This is Have Rods, Will Travel. The tidal marshes of Virginia are a truly unique ecosystem. They're virtually unchanged from the time before human contact. They've supported Native American life, they've helped European settlers get established on the continent, and now they do the same with another creature from a foreign land, the Northern Snakehead.
Look how fat she is.
However, the snakehead isn't the only predator roaming these weed lines. There's a plethora of creatures ready to ambush an unsuspecting victim, including the powerful and prehistoric Bowfin. On this trip, we will be targeting both sides of that coin. I'll have the pleasure of fishing with two of my very good friends. Grant Alvis has been fishing with me from the start and has been a part of my climb in the trophy fishing game. He's also one of the first people to implement the fly rod in the Virginia snakehead scene. Also along for the hunt is another fly fisherman, the youth prodigy Braden Miller. He's 12 years my junior, but packs more fishing ability than an angler twice his age. Even though they are both skilled with the fly rod, we will be leaving that at home on this adventure. Fly fishing takes time and patience, and on this trip we have little of both. Just 2 short days to hammer as many fish as possible. With the miles of seemingly endless vegetation, it can be hard to know where to begin. You just have to start casting and get on the hunt. Every now and then the fish show up early and let you know you're on the right track.
That's a bass. It's like a 4-pounder. Okay. That's a little bit smaller than I thought he was. He freaking killed it.
I saw it. I heard whoosh. I turned and I'm like, okay. There are few things as exhilarating as chucking a topwater bait down a line of pads and watching it get destroyed. And the tension you experience while waiting to get ambushed is almost even better. You don't know when you'll get attacked, but you know at some point you will. It's almost guaranteed. You never know exactly where the fish may be. These predators of the pads are always on the move, but if you stay mobile yourself, eventually your paths will clash.
That's a bowfin. I think.
No, it's a bass.
No, it isn't. It's a bowfin.
No, it's a snakehead right here.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Right here, right here.
Good one.
Okay. So, we're fishing these tidal marshes in Virginia looking for a fish that's 100 million years old. And what we run into sometimes are these. These are Northern Snakehead. Where the bowfin has been here for 100 million years, these fish have only really got a foothold in Virginia within the last 10. So it's a super cool fish. These guys get upwards of 20 pounds. And they're kind of direct competitors with the fish we're looking for, the bowfin. Just get a close up.
That one's got really cool paint on his head, like stripes. And they always take off like that.
Bang, like not really thick hydro. Nice soft marsh bang. Cool hunt.
God, that's a big one, dude.
You might throw in there.
I think that was a bowfin.
No, it was a snakehead. I just saw him.
Yeah. You're passing right now. Yep.
Yeah! Got it! Oh, it's a big one. Get him, dude. Get him. Yes! Yes! That's a big one.
That's crazy. That was freaking wild.
That is the wildest bite.
Bowfin
Yes.
or snakehead don't eat buzzbaits, so
He tried to.
It's crazy.
Oh, that's what we're talking about. That's a good one.
That's sick.
That's a 8 or 9 pounder there. We thought she was a bowfin when we first saw her. She came out and chased Josh's that chartreuse buzzbait he likes to throw. Ate it. He set the hook. I mean, even loaded his rod up, and the buzzbait just came out. And we saw her come out. And every now and again, you'll get one after they come off a hook. They'll just kind of swim around and not even act like they ever got hooked. Well, she took a big gulp of air. I fired my bait over there, and she just swam and absolutely crushed it. So that's why we love catching these fish. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Snakeheads may be the new hot button topic in United States fishing, but there's a creature out there that rightfully deserves the attention. It's been here longer, and it's evolved to be the apex predator wherever it calls home. It's mean, it's green, and its intentions will not be confused if you cross paths with it.
big freaking bowfin. Keep them on. Keep them on. Oh my god. Oh my god, Josh. Keep them on. Keep them on.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Josh, that's a giant, dude. Josh, that's a giant.
That's a freaking tank.
And he just came off. He just came off on my bait that I made. Oh my god.
I told you there's a freaking tank over here, dude.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All right, so this is what we came for. About 1,000,000-year-old species. They've been here since, you know, the dinosaurs have been roaming the earth. They're one of our native fish here in Virginia. They populate just about all the marshes and swamps, you know, all the way down into brackish water. They're a freshwater fish, but they got a really high tolerance for salt. They're as cool as they get. Nothing fights harder than these guys. And as you can see, they keep fighting well after they've been caught. Mouth full of teeth. You can see, just a prehistoric predator who needs to evolve when you're already perfect. Stud muffin, man.
All right, we're going to take a quick break from the action just to show you guys the baits we're using for these bowfin and snakehead. Grant's going to go ahead and go through these quick 4 baits, just a nice selection, a variety of stuff for you guys to use to chase these fish.
So in the video you saw I caught the bowfin on what looked like an inline spinner. That's because it was. This is a bait that I actually make. It's a really good bait to cover water, especially dirty water. Gives you a lot of vibration and a lot of flash. And those fish, that's one thing bowfin love. It's some kind of gold flash and tannic water. Another one of my go-tos for bowfin and snakehead is the Tidal sprinkler frog. This is the camo color. But basically what it is, it's like a weedless whopper plopper. Over grass, down grass, edges, basically through any kind of soft cover. It's really hard to beat this frog. The sound is something that really calls these fish in from a distance. And the fact that it's super weedless, you're not afraid to throw it where those big fish live.
That's what he caught the last fish in just the back part of this first segment of this video. The one that I missed on the buzzbait, he went back and caught it on the sprinkler frog. So
the other benefit of these hollow bodies, you get the sound that's similar to a ribbit frog or a whopper plopper, but since these are a hollow body frog, they actually float. So when you get a fish that chases this frog or, you know, wakes up behind it, you can let the frog sit and they'll be sitting there looking at it, and then you just kind of walk it a little bit, and that's how we entice a whole lot of the bites. Another one of my newer favorites, I started throwing this one kind of towards the second half of the season last year. This is the Tidal honker frog. One of their lesser known frogs that's out there, but not by any means less effective. Kind of like a hybrid between a sprinkler and a traditional walking frog, but they found a way to throw some flash in there too. You can fish this one a variety of ways. You can kind of fish it on a steady retrieve, and those legs will kind of erratically pop together and make a really just a different sound that nothing else on the market makes. And then you can also, that when you get a fish that wakes up behind it, I found it's a lot easier to get a fish to commit to this frog. It's a little bit smaller package, even though it is the same body size. It's a little more compact with the smaller and shorter legs, and you have the benefit of that flash in there. I do tend to catch more bowfin on this frog, and I think it's got a lot to do with that gold flash.
Right. It's a good bait if you don't have a lot of area to work a bait. Say you just have little pockets in the pads and stuff. That flash, it's good. It's a good bait just to cast out and work in place. That flash adds a lot of attractant for the fish, and it's a good selection when you're just trying to target individual pockets in the pads.
Yeah, and the one nice thing, you wouldn't think so, but these legs actually give it a lot of drag, so you can actually almost walk this bait in place. So when you're throwing it into those little pockets, you can kind of throw 3 or 4 walks in there, and if there's a fish in there, he's going to show up pretty quick. The another one, this is the Stanford Baits, what's it called? The Boom Boom Frog. This is the popping version. It's got a little bit of a rattle in it, and really any popping frog will do the job. This is kind of a secondary follow-up bait, or just, some days if you're fishing smaller areas and you want a little less action than these 2 frogs give. I don't typically throw a straight walking frog where it's a smooth head. I like to have some kind of pop in there, and this frog kind of gives you a little bit more of a subdued action, but yet it still walks really well. And it's a lot better choice if you're on highly pressured water and you've got really picky fish. And the main point with all of these frogs is a good hook. And Stanford, that's one thing they're known for. They put a really nice hook in their frogs, and especially Teckle. They put a gaff of a hook in their frogs. Right. That's one thing to remember.
Right. So in the world of frogs and frog fishing, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of choices out there, especially when it's coming into the new arena of fishing for snakehead. There's so many choices. So this is 4 bait choices that have worked for us really well in this video and just in general fishing. Hope this helps you guys get started. Just great baits to give a try. Hope you guys learned something from this. Let's get back to it. Our first day was a success, boating a few solid fish. But we had a very specific goal to achieve on day 2. As stewards to the sport of angling, it's our duty to introduce the next generation to the enjoyment that these places and fish bring us. Our young friend Braden would be joining us on his first trip to these wild tidal marshes. He's neither been stalked by a lurking snakehead nor experienced the thrill of being hunted by a pissed-off bowfin. Once he was with us, he wasted no time showing us he was up for the task at hand.
Got him. Hit him harder, hit him. I like Josh's attitude. No! Oh, wait, it's you.
No, it's my fish, bro.
Literally the easiest freaking catch ever.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Jeez. That was so funny.
Good job, dude. Sweet. That's awesome.
Thankfully, Braden didn't get to have all the fun. We found a few fish of our own as well.
Oh, big one. Oh, wait, no, he's not. Back out here in the marshes of Eastern Virginia, hunting down hydrilla gorillas. We got Grant, we got young Braden in the boat. This is our second fish on the day. It's nice, maybe 3-4 pound snakehead, nothing too crazy. Let me get this guy back.
It's like the most peaceful snakehead release I've ever seen.
Yeah, because he tried to break everything.
Different shape. It's a different hook in the long thread. I thought it was.
Hey, I had this rolling. I restarted this.
After messing around with some smaller fish, we switched gears with the purpose of getting Braden his first bowfin to accompany his snake. We ran over to an area that is a notorious haunt for the force known as the dogfish. The kid quickly capitalized and turned predator into prey.
Got one. Got him. I think it's bad. It's bad.
No, it's not.
No?
I don't think so.
It is a bowfin.
Here, bring swing over.
Oh, that's my first bowfin.
Sweet.
Cool.
I got all that on camera.
Did you?
The entire thing.
Alright.
Snakehead have been the focus of media hysteria for the past decade. The fishing world itself has mixed emotions on their very existence, with both sides standing firm in their belief of either being an ecological monster or a fun new species to chase. They are mostly a misunderstood species, and even though we have over a decade of data on the snakehead's impact on particular waterways, with every introduction to a new body of water comes new fears and uncertainties on how the food chain will react. But that's not my battle to fight, nor my argument to jump in. We chase an established population of snakes in our area of the Virginia tidal marshes, and they're here to stay. So with that being said, we have no hesitation when it comes to chasing an exciting and aggressive species on our doorstep.
No, stop! Hit him! Got him.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Dude, he charged down, just BAM!
Sweet.
He came out of nowhere and hammered it. Oh, that's
Honestly, I think he's about the same size.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bigger.
Man. Yeah, maybe.
Sweet.
Bam!
Neat!
Nino.
High five!
Pow!
Yeah.
Woo! We're doing it all.
We're doing it live!
At the end of the day, it's another great trip in the books chasing some of the country's gnarliest creatures. We introduced the future of angling to this unique place. And maybe equally important, we got to chase some big fish and have our own escape from the real world, which in today's day and age is growing more important with each hour
Let
that
him turn
passes.
himself around.